Hi, I'm Bill Golden. I'm CEO of IntelligenceCareers.com. We run a number of websites that we want you to know about, such as USAJobZoo.com. We have almost 100,000 jobs for all kinds of industries across the USA, and DefenseCareers.com, which offers you almost 12,000 opportunities within the defense industry. So whether you go to USAJobZoo.com or DefenseCareers.com, we have something for you. Today I'd like to talk about your resume. Your resume is a very important document, and it's also a source of heartburn for many reasons. So one of the things that I want you to know about is what we recommend for resumes. If you're a senior professional, one of the most popular kinds of resumes is called a curriculum vitae. This may be used if you're a faculty member, a senior manager, a subject matter expert. More often than not, this kind of resume will be referred to as a CV. Hey, do you have a CV? I'd love to see your CV sometimes. The important thing to remember about a CV resume is it's not a chronological list of I had this job and I did these things. A CV resume is all about you, the whole person. Today we're going to talk about a different kind of resume, but I just want you to keep in mind that if you're a senior or you're an academic, you really need to be thinking about a CV resume. The second kind of resume is somewhat rare, but you'll often see it. Some government agencies really like this kind of resume, or some organizations which are academically inclined may ask that you submit what is called a KSA, or a Knowledge, Skills, and Ability resume. It is used mostly by the government, and basically what it does is you're asked to define yourself in relation to a specific job description. So they may be looking for a subject matter expert with certain responsibilities, and you will be working with certain organizations, etc., and they want you to outline your knowledge, skills, and ability for each aspect of that job. We're not really going to talk about KSAs today. So the third kind of resume, which is the most common for many, many reasons, and it's always the right answer as your basic resume. That is called a chronological resume. A resume which documents you across time. Now, if you have more than 10 years experience, we really recommend that anything older than 10 years that you take and you create a summary paragraph at the end of your resume saying prior to 2001, this is 2012 now, prior to 2001, my involvement in my skills and my education, etc., and put it all in one paragraph. I know that's difficult for some of you, especially if you are a professional with 15, 20, 30 years of experience. The bottom line is just not many people care. Now, on a chronological resume, what's important is that it highlights your skills progression through time. Employers want to see that you have been at one level and moved to the next. That could be either in skills or it could be in levels of responsibility. A resume, such as a chronological resume, and pretty much all resumes to a degree, really have four things in common. They have your name. They have, which is your contact information. It could be your email. For email, there are very few email snobs out there. So if you have Bill Golden at AOL.com or Bill Golden at gmail.com, you know what? No one really cares. I want to encourage you, however, to avoid emails like dogsniffer.com or sexymama.com or whatever. You know, if it's not something that just basically describes you, anything that can be used to bring doubt, avoid. And I say this because I see resumes all the time with emails that you would just not use in front of your mother. So the second part of your resume is a certification. Now your certification could be I am a CCNA, I am a Microsoft certified whatever, I have a top secret security clearance. If you have a security clearance, that is a form of certification. So put your certifications right up front. An employer needs to know about you. And if you do have a security clearance, put in nice bold letters, security clearance, secret, top secret. Keep in mind that you may have some alphabet soup, some letters after it, such as a top secret, mumbly, mumbly, mumbly. Anyway, you don't need all of that. You just need to be upfront. I have a secret, I have a top secret, etc. Do not get into the alphabet soup that goes after that. The third part is probably one of the most controversial aspects of a resume and the advice that I'm giving you today. That is to have an objective statement. Now, you're probably going to read many pieces of advice on resumes, and they will tell you that an objective statement often is absolutely the wrong thing to have on your resume. So I recommend that, especially for certain industries, or if you have a background that is extremely, you've done some of everything. You're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Or maybe you're a master of all. But you know what? No one hires anyone that's a master of all. Those people just rarely exist. So, your objective statement, for the very reason that some people recommend against it, I recommend that you have it for almost all situations. That is, I am a junior level, mid-level, senior level what? Why should I hire you and give you money? So I am a junior level network administrator. I am a mid-level accountant. I am a senior level lawyer or whatever you are. It could be French translator, senior level mechanic, and you can add something at the end such as with strong experience in. So let's say you were in the military, maybe Iraq, Afghanistan, or many other military assignments as well. And so you bring, I am a mid-level accounting technician with strong experience in overseas finance and support of military operations. So you can put a qualifier at the end, but it needs to reflect on what your level of expertise is. The fourth part of your resume is the body of the resume. And since we're talking about a chronological resume, the most recent experience goes first. This is very important for many reasons. Number one, humans rarely read resumes. So you turn in a resume or you put a resume online, you know what? A human is probably not going to read that resume. Or when a human does read it, it's going to be when they finally have made up their mind that they want to talk to you. Here is who does read it, a computer. A computer that runs a mathematical program, algorithm against your resume and says the closer you are to the closer a piece of information is to the top of a page, of the first page of a resume, or the beginning of your resume, the more relevant the experience is, the more recent experience your experience is. So that means you could have several people with the exact same experience, but someone did something 5 years ago, someone did something 10 years ago, and you did it just last month. The computer expects that when you last did it, or closeness to this point in time, that's going to be towards the front of your resume. So you want your contact information, your certifications or security clearance if you have any, and then you want the body of your resume with the most recent experience up front. Of course, you're going to list your jobs. Here's some of the information you should put in. The first line of each piece of experience should be the year and month of employment. So if you started your job in May 2008 and you're currently employed, it would read something like May 2008 to present. Let's say you became a mommy, or you had an illness, or for some reason you dropped out of the job market. This is very important. Employers do not like to see time that is not accounted for. So, let's say you dropped out of the job market a year ago. You know, there are many reasons, but you need to think about this. You need an explanation. So if it says from May 2008 to July 2011, I worked at this. Well, it's now 6, 7, 8 months later. I want to know what you've done since July 2011. You need to have a brief explanation if you have a lapse in time. So let's say you dropped out to be a mommy. Nothing wrong with that. We need moms. You should put in suspended, you know, so let's say May 2008 to July 2011 or whatever. You know, suspended my career temporarily to raise children, and now I'm back in the market, period. Because that's the reality of it, isn't it? Perhaps you had a car accident or an illness. So during that time you could say, due to illness, was unable to work, and fine now and ready to go. Something brief and to the point. Now some of you have had a challenging career in the last year or two. You got laid off. Okay, that's not a reflection of you. It has happened to many other people, so you need to think about this. You could put something like, since July 2011, my contract came to an end, have been looking for a similar position. You know, to a good recruiter, that tells them what they need to know. You've been unemployed. Your contract came to an end or whatever, that explains that it came to an end. As long as you haven't been fired, that's not a problem. So in the body of your resume, you need to account for your last 10 years of experience from a beginning month and year to a year and month. We should know the job title, such as I was a junior level bank teller, I was a mid-level accountant, I was a senior intelligence analyst. Whatever your job title was for each of these entries, you need to keep it brief and to the point. Now, if you're military, something very important, you really need two versions of a chronological resume. You need a militarized version, which is basically, this is what I did, this is the unit I was in, etc., etc. But you need a demilitarized version as well, and lots of reasons for that. But the bottom line is, not everyone was in your branch of service. If you put out there that your MOS, AFSC, or NEC, or whatever was this, and you were a shift supervisor, or a shift superintendent, or a trick chief, for those of you who weren't in the Army, you probably don't know what a trick chief is, but that is a valid job title within the Army as far as a position of responsibility. Next, you need to tell me your employer. So for the military, you really have a choice. You could put a unit designator, or you could say U.S. Army. For everyone else, you need to tell me, I worked for ABC Bread Company, ABC Bank, ABC Manufacturing, whatever the name of the employer is. And then you need to give a brief description, an overview of your responsibility and the tasks that you perform, and anything very unique to your job. And that's the body of your resume. So with that, let me just review really quick. Your resume has 4 major components. Contact information. An email is important. Most recruiters do not like to call you, but you need a telephone. And you know, if you, please don't put the telephone number at the job that you're leaving. If you're leaving, please don't put the email address of where you're currently employed. That's going to change. And you would not believe the amount of resumes that we see that has old info. Put a security clearance statement or a certification statement right up front after your contact information. Put an objective statement. I am seeking a junior level, mid-level, senior level, what? And yes, you need to tell. Because employers often will look at your resume. Let's say you go to a career fair. They're going to see tons of resumes. The recruiter may not be quite familiar with your skill set. So you need to tell me you're a junior level, mid-level, senior level, what? So when I sit down with these 500 resumes and I sort through them, I have a clue which pile you go in. And then the fourth part of your resume is the body of your resume, which gives me the last 10 years of your experience. Now, if you want at the end, all experience older than 10 years, you can put into a summary statement. And you can also put in a section at the end of your resume called key terms or keywords. These are all the kinds of things associated with your career that did not make it into the resume, but it could be systems names, locations, other organizations you worked with, perhaps certifications, courses of study. It is just a free flow list of things about you which did not make it in the other part of the resume, but a computer can find through a computer search, because that's how employers are going to find you once they get your resume. This is Bill Golden with DefenseCareers.com and USA JobSue. Go to either of those two websites and we have thousands of jobs waiting for you today. Thank you.